Did you listen to Jeff and Professor Hamo in the morning? Here's what's
thick and fast. It is 14 minutes past the hour, 8 o'clock on this magic Monday morning on the hottest breakfast show in all of Africa. Hashtag
Jeff and Hamo on hot.
That's right. And guess what,
Yes.
Hamo? Coming up, a story. And this is a very significant day. I'm going to tell you about it because I remember this day like it was yesterday. We're talking about February 11th, 1990. I'll tell you in a moment. But first, guess what? The
University.
Tears to my eyes, man, because I had growing up in the 60s and 70s, right? I used to collect stamps. Let me go. I used to collect, stamps. I was a stamp collector. Yes, so the glue comes off, you put it to dry, and then you stick it in an album. I had stamp album after stamp album. And then there were these things called first day covers.
First day covers?
Yes. You see? So the post office releases stamps, right? Let's say about 6-7 stamps. Zile wame introduced kwa market.
Yes.
Lakini ukitaka, if you're a collector,
yes,
you get, those days you subscribe as a first day cover collector. Wanakutumia hizo zote unaweka tu without stamp. Without a stamp. Hizo zimetoka straight from the factory. So one time they released first day covers of this man, Nelson Mandela. And they showed him, and you could see the pictures, but they were old, right? I mean, you could see this young man, his last seen in public in 1964.
Wow.
1964.
And this is when you're getting them?
I'm getting them in the 70s now, right? So 15, 16 years later.
Yes.
And I started reading about this guy and saying, wow, he was sentenced to life in prison back in 64. And now it's late 70s coming on 80s, right? So he's been in prison more than 20, coming on 20 years, right? Coming on 20. So, I mean, it was fascinating to know that there was still a political prisoner in a place where there was a system of government where segregation was the order of the day.
Yes.
Whites only this, non-whites this. It was incredible. So anyway, I kept the first day covers and I kept researching about this man. In my last year in high school, 1984, I wrote a play which I called "It's Only a Matter of Time." Yeah, it was just
I was just wrote a play.
Yes, and this play was entered in the Kenya National Drama School Festival. Drama Festival. And
you're also a writer.
It was about South Africa, by the way. And I said it's only a matter of time. Freedom is only a matter of time.
Yes.
And the good thing about St. Mary's, we had white kids and black kids and Asian kids and all colored kids. So you could, if you wrote a scene, you could incorporate. You didn't have to, pretend that this person was white or this person was Asian because we had them.
Yes.
So it was fantastic for the script that I wrote. And by the way, this is the FYI. The play went on to become #1 all of Kenya. 1984, the Kenya School Drama Festival. It's only a matter of time. 84, 10 years later, that country had been independent.
This is 94. Yes.
But anyway, so I'm reading about Mandela throughout, right?
Yes.
I wrote the play. I'm reading about him. I've left school now. I've gone to America. South Africa's in the news sometimes. You hear in the news, Mandela's going to be released. This was around 88. He's going to be released. Oh, he's not released. Oh, he's refused these conditions. Oh, he did that. So, we would get the news. One day in February 1990, I just happened to call in sick that day. I called in sick. Yeah. I was working at ABC News, right? And I said, you know what? I'm not feeling really good today. But I don't know why I called in sick.
Yes.
So there I am at home. I've turned the TV on and I see suddenly on TV. And somehow obviously in America, this wasn't a priority. There wasn't a big deal.
Yeah,
but there was one station that went live that day. And this is what I was watching from my room in my apartment in Brooklyn, New York.
And the crowd getting excited. There's Mr. Mandela, Mr. Nelson Mandela, a free man taking his first steps into a new South Africa. This is Winnie Mandela next to him, waving to the crowds, hand in hand. They leave the Victor Verster prison. Officials, marshals of the National Reception Committee trying to get the people And a salute from Mr. Nelson Mandela, his wife Winnie, greeting the people outside the fences of the Victor Verster prison. That is the man the world has been waiting to see. His first public appearance in nearly 3 decades.
I could not help crying, man. I didn't believe what I was seeing was real.
This is someone you have been reading about
Over the years, nobody had seen him in 20... Can you imagine? Nobody had seen him in more than 2 decades. Nobody! And
Almost
he comes
3.
out of prison at the age of 71, defiant as ever. His wife then, Winnie, waving the clenched fist, and they walk down that street. Oh my God. February 11th, 1990. Nearly 30 years ago, eh?
And you're in Brooklyn now.
Imagine. Oh, and then obviously 1990, there was lots of problems between then and 94. Lots of killings, inter-ethnic violence.
After he was released.
Yes.
Before the...
Yes, because, the Zulus were saying, oh, what about us? Because he's also, right?
Yes.
And they were saying, what about us? This, that division. Did Mandela sell out? Did he not? All that. It was horrible. But in the end, he decided, you know what, guys, if I didn't serve 27 years in prison along with my colleagues for this country to tear itself apart. It's bigger than any one of us. That guy. That guy. What a man. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. And he went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. He shared it with the former president of South Africa, F.W. de Klerk.
The man who was ruling.
Who made the announcement. Who made the announcement that Mandela was going to be released.
But you see, yet I said, atrocities.
He was part of the National Party, but he was one of they say more liberal, more liberal and progressive. So FW and Mandela, they actually shared the Nobel in 1993. Unbelievable, man. Who would have thought that 2 former archers... Nika handshake.
Yes.
It was a handshake before the handshake.
Yes, that was the biggest handshake. Unajua hii ni hasira ya miaka ngapi?
Decades.
You tembea the streets, unaona hapa ni kwa wazungu, hapa ni...
Absolutely.
Every day you're reminded of
What a
the
story.
pain.
So I went on to meet him a few years... After he was released from prison,
Yes.
he made a world tour. And America was part of it, and I saw him at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx in New York for the very first time in my life. And when I was in the stadium, and the convoy drove past, and I saw in the window, he was inside the car, and I looked in, and I couldn't stop staring. I couldn't stop. I said, that is the man. God, could I just shake his hand one day? And guess what?
How many years later?
So that was 1990. So 97 is the first time I met him up close. 97 all the way to 2007, yeah.
You became buddies.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, a.k.a. Tata Madiba. This is what we call a story added. Only on Hot Ladies. Late great Hugh Masekela. And he sang that in Manhattan one time. I saw him bring him back home, huh? Bring back Nelson Mandela is the name of the song. Unbelievable. It was actually the theme song in the movie Sarafina.
Yes.
Starring Bongeni Ngema and Leleti Khumalo. See, I get very personal with these things. I get very personal. February 11th, 1990. Amazing. Speaking of amazing,
yes,
Safaricom has come up with an all-in-one monthly bundle package prop.
Catch Jeff Koinange and Professor Hamo every day, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on Hot 96.